And so in childhood, I had to overcome a bunch of obstacles. I'm a child who came from a family of divorce, and that in itself was difficult. I also had to grow up early because I had to help assume some of the responsibilities that parent leaving left. So I think, when we talk about leaders, um, they are cultivated very young, right? And so I didn't understand at the time, me stepping up to do these things, what that actually meant, but I was becoming that leader then, or again, that was like some of my training ground back.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I also had to overcome the desire to fit in. That was a big thing too. I sit in a lot of intersections. So from being biracial, not knowing which side I fit in with, being a female, like you said, that in itself is difficult. And so I just decided that.
Hey there, welcome back to So What Success Stories. And I am super excited to be talking to a woman, a powerhouse woman that I met. And when I met her in a class, a leadership class, an entrepreneurial leadership class, I don't even know how many years ago, maybe 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time
It was a
ago.
while ago, but she
Yeah.
was so quiet and so sweet and so unassuming that I had no idea that she was actually so big and so powerful. And she has gone on to do some amazing things since we met. And I'm super excited to get into it. This is Nubian Simmons, and she is the CEO and founder of the Pink Bakery. So, Nubian, I'm so glad to talk to you. So good to see you again. And I can't wait to tell your story. So, first, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, Summer, thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited that we finally were able to do this. It's been a long time, even we're trying for us to coordinate this. But yes, my name is Nubian Simmons. I'm the founder and CEO of the Pink Bakery, and I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. That's where I grew up. I am the second of four in my family. I went to school in Nashville. I went to Tennessee State University. That's where I got my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. Um, Loved Nashville, but knew I wanted to see more of the world. Um, my journey eventually brought me down to Memphis, which is where, again, I met you and all the amazing people in Memphis who really embraced me and the Pink Bakery. And yeah, then life happened again, and we moved to Wisconsin. So yeah, but I would say again, like, just to sum me up, I'm a incredibly passionate person. To your point, I am quiet, but then once it's time for me to speak, like, I let it go. I let it rip.
I love it. Well, let's get into your story. So, in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System because it's my belief that anybody, if they can learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, they can have so what success. And that is success no matter what happens. So, Nubian, I know you are a woman, and I know you are a minority, and I know you're an entrepreneur. So, all of that, all of that makes you a success story because you've done some incredible things in spite of even those challenges. So, let's get into it. Talk about some of the obstacles you've had to overcome to get to where you are today.
Yeah, so I think if we could go back even a little deeper than those three things that you said, I think our childhood really forms and shapes who we are. And so in childhood, I had to overcome a bunch of obstacles. I'm a child who came from a family of divorce, and that in itself was difficult. I also had to grow up early because I had to help assume some of the responsibilities that parent leaving left. And so I think, when we talk about leaders, um, they are cultivated very young, right? And so I didn't understand at the time, me stepping up to do these things, what that actually meant, but I was becoming that leader then, or again, that was like some of my training ground back.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I also had to overcome the desire to fit in. That was a big thing too. I sit in a lot of intersections. So from being biracial, not knowing which side I fit in with, being a female, like you said, that in itself is difficult. Um, and so I just decided that I was just going to fit in with me. Like I didn't care about what anybody else thought about me, felt about me. Like I was just going to roll with myself. And so, again, these were things that I established very young. Um, and then also the other thing that I've also overcome is the messaging that we are taught. So I had to unlearn a lot of the things that, again, was projected onto me. Even that life is supposed to be easy. No, it's not. That things should come to you easily. And I think when we go through life with those types of messaging, and then we come out here and we see that it's not, we think it's something wrong with us. And so when you unlearn that and you understand that it's going to be challenging, everything that you do, adversity is the best teacher. So every day you're going to face obstacles all day, every day. They create, I think, the best problem solvers, right? Those obstacles. And so for me, who has overcome so many things, I'm probably one of the best problem solvers because of that. So again, I would just have to say again, overcoming, the mindset, the messaging, the losses, the pain, to get to a place where you're settled within yourself and you can depend on yourself and you can count on you. And when you get to that place in life, I feel like it doesn't matter what comes at you, you can handle it.
I love that. I love that. You said, I decided I'm gonna roll with me. I love it. That's such a powerful statement. And so you talked about a number of obstacles that you've had to overcome. And really, Nubian, any of those could have taken a lot of people out, right? And they can't move forward from it. So talk about some of the excuses, the second part of So a Success System, the excuses you had to eliminate and how you eliminated those excuses so that you could keep moving forward.
Yeah, I have a different approach on excuses. I don't eliminate them. I think it's so important that they are there, right? Because again, I feel like they help us grow as people. What I do is I embrace them and I sit them down and I like take them apart. And so in that dissection, I sit and I say to myself, okay, if I have severe food allergies, which I didn't speak about that being an obstacle, which is a huge obstacle, which is why
It's
I
a huge
started my
part of
business.
what you do right now, right?
The reason why I started my business, right? I have severe food allergies. I've been excluded. I've been eliminated from things, right? I've had to deal with a lot emotionally around that, right? And again, feelings of worthlessness or not good enough or just all the things that happen internally. Um, and you do sit in it sometimes, right? But I feel like it's important again for growth that you get your mind in a really good place. So a lot of self-talk, right? You ask like, how do I eliminate these things? Again, I dissect them. I say to myself, if I take this route of self-pity, how does that help me? You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna loathe, I'm gonna be in this place, people are gonna feel sorry for me. Do I want that to be my life? Or do I want to overcome this? Like I'm yes, I have this. It's a part of me, but that doesn't mean that I have to be defined by that. Like I'm someone who just happens to have food allergies. They just don't define me, right? And so yeah, I think it's important that they are there. I think it's important that you receive them in a positive way instead of it being a negative thing. I try to embrace it and see how I can turn it around, like I said, dissect it, turn it around, and then make it what I want it to be. I don't want you to make my life be what you want it to be. I want to make it what I want it to be. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense. And you even said something that I say often, because when I got pregnant at 15 and the way that I got pregnant, people felt sorry for me. Some people felt sorry for me. And I felt sorry for myself, but I did exactly what you just said. It's like I could sit around feeling sorry for myself, but I made a conscious decision that, okay, feeling sorry for myself and having other people feeling sorry for me, where is it going to take me? How
Right.
far am I going to get with that? And so I made that decision, very similar mindset as you. So, but Nubian, okay, you talked about, and Nubian, am I saying it right?
Yeah, new beyond.
I was
Yeah.
like, I've always said Nubian, so Nubian, let me get it right. I respect names.
Thank
Um,
you.
so I think about the excuse that you just talked about having the severe food allergies, and you didn't mention it as an obstacle before, but that definitely was an obstacle that you turned into an opportunity, a major opportunity. So now talk a little bit about that and how you eliminated the excuses of having the food allergy and you turned it into something amazing. Talk about the Pink Bakery a little bit.
Yes, yes. So I was born with severe food allergies. I'm allergic to milk and wheat. And we didn't know, like at the time, they weren't checking for food allergies like they are now, right? So I struggled, like was sick all the time. We didn't know what it was, poked and prodded at the hospital, doctor, like just all that, right? And again, when I was born, I was labeled a fair to thrive baby. So like automatically, like out the gate, here I am with this label, right? Um, and was underweight, just underperforming, all the things, right? And so, and we're from Wisconsin, so one of my allergies is dairy. So that was really tough because either they would give it to me, again, not knowing, but so anyway, fast forward to the life of struggle and wanting to eat these things that tasted amazing or were beautiful and be a part of celebrations and not have to sit to the side. And I would lie to people. They would be like, oh, well, we forgot something for you. Oh, it's okay. No, it's not okay, right? And so the growth in myself, I'm so proud of myself to get to a place where I can say it's not okay that you forgot something about me, but or something for me, excuse me, but I'm going to create something so that you don't ever have to forget anybody else, right? So I created top 14 allergen free baking mixes for people who have food allergies that don't taste like cardboard. When you and I met, I was actually still baking for people. So there's been a lot of transition and pivoting within the Pink Bakery space as well. From baking to mixes to now we have pivoted to catering to colleges and universities and hospitality organizations with our products. And I'm so excited for that transition. But it's all about trying to make everyone feel included. I've been excluded before. That feeling is the worst. Again, it goes back to you feeling something like something's wrong with you. I never want anybody to feel like that again. And so, yeah, that is like it drives me. Like that is the thing. I overcome it all from the sexism that I face when I go into different places, the racism that I face when I go into different places. Again, it's all about trying to make sure that I can be inclusive or my products are inclusive.
That is amazing. I'm just so proud of you and the growth and the transition. It's amazing. And I'm just honored. I watch it on Facebook. So I've seen it and I've seen the growth. It's so impressive, but I love more, I guess more importantly, the story behind it. The story behind it. So that's congratulations, girl. So let's
Thank
the
you.
third part, because I love it. The third part of the Soul Success System is calculated choices. And so obviously with your growth, and you just mentioned some of the transition that you've made in the business, you've made some calculated choices. Talk about the calculated choices you made on your journey.
Yeah. I think it's very important. And I'm a very emotional person. Like, I have to put this out there. Like, I cry about everything. And I don't know where that came from because I didn't always used to be that way. And I think maybe just entrepreneurship, like, just really, like hit some spot that just like the tears, they just come a flowing. But
I
I
get
look at that honestly too, though, as a strong suit because I can tap in and I can look at things from every side of the equation, right? And so when I'm calculating things, you got to look at it all, the ugly, the hard, the easy, like you have to look at it all. And for me, I like to come to a place where I can assess again, how is this going to be equitable, not just for me, right? But for everyone that's involved, whether that's my suppliers, my universities, my team, like it has to make sense for everybody because I feel like there's always a solution. It doesn't have to just be one side oriented. I feel like we all can benefit, but it takes someone to look at it from all perspectives. Just diversity in thought, I think, is very important when you're assessing something, right? And again, keeping in line what the end goal is. If I'm just going for short term and I'm not considering again what my end goal is for the Pink Bakery, I would have made totally different decisions, right? And again, some of these decisions that I've made, you don't even see the benefit until maybe a couple years later, right? So the whole instant gratification is not something that I subscribe to. I am very much someone who has to wait, for the things that they are, again, hoping to achieve. Like I am that long term, you
Yeah.
know, long, boring, drawn out process type person. Like that's how I am, right? Like when you guys see the stuff, the fruits of the labor, it's probably a year or two, later, that you see it, So yeah, but I'm very calculated and I assess everything. Like I look at it all and I don't move quickly, but I do allow myself to feel every emotion of it because I think it's very important to do that. And that gives me, I think, an advantage. Because again, there's diversity in the space, in the thought, and emotion is there. And there's a lot of power that's in that. So
Well, I can appreciate all that. I've gotten more emotional. I think it's a function of entrepreneurship and the challenges of entrepreneurship that we probably didn't expect, it's probably some also an element of being a woman and aging a little bit too. I think and just being honest about that. But it all goes together. But I appreciate um what you just said about calculated choices and delayed gratification, and I think that's important for you to talk about that because so many of us people, and I would even expect a lot of the people who watch this are younger people too, who expect things fast because we live in a world where things do happen fast, right? But a lot of the things, like the big things and the calculated, not the major things, can take time. And I can even attest to that in my business where I'm looking at some of the things that I've created. Sometimes I don't see the fruit of my labor for 5 or even 10 years, some of the things that I'm seeing. So I definitely can understand that and I really appreciate it. Any other calculated choices you care to share?
there's so many, but I guess just one thing I would want to say to your guests is, if you've ever watched a building get built, like if you've ever seen like the foundation get poured and then you watch, that whole process, it takes a long time. So in this world of the instant gratification on social media, all that type of stuff, again, that's the messaging that I'm talking about. That's part of what's wrong, with the world we're living in because it's unrealistic. And I think if they can find someone in their world, that tells them the truth or tries to be as honest with them as possible, like patience. You got to have patience. Be patient and be constant. Because this is not. It's not an easy win. It's not a real fast round. Like people try to make it look like it's not that. It is constant, touching it every day, working on yourself every day, growing every day, like that. Like that's what it is. So I'd say that too.
I love it. I love it. So you demonstrated you know how to overcome obstacles, you know how to eliminate excuses, and you've made some amazing calculated choices. You are definitely a sober success woman, and I appreciate you sharing your story, a bit of it. I know so much more. but but what is your personal definition of success?
Yeah, I feel like this is such a great question, and it's different for everybody. Um, but mine is to be in a constant state of positive energy where my mind, body, and soul are all aligned. Like, and I know that's like vague and open ended, but that is really it. It's not anything. It has changed because it used to be all. I gotta have designer this. I gotta have this kind of car. Like I was all in that, right? And I feel like again, that's a part of the journey and the growth and just all that until I got really sick and
Mm.
on this entrepreneur journey. And it was like the only thing that matters is my health, and like my family and all that. So that's what I would say is my answer of success, like to be in an extended period of time where again it's all positives, all aligned, mental, physical, and spiritual.
I think that's a beautiful definition, and I like asking that question because it does change. It is different for everybody, and it does evolve over time based on your own life experiences. I think that's a beautiful one. All right, one last question for you, and that's just what's one piece of advice you would give someone watching this who wants to be successful, however they define success, but they run into obstacles as we all do. What's one piece of advice you would leave us with?
I love saying this, so I hope it resonates with anybody that, even one person who hears it is your will is stronger than any obstacle. That's like my favorite thing to tell people because I live by that. Like my will is stronger than anything that is going to come towards me. So
I love it. That's a mic drop. That's a mic drop. I can attest to that too. Well, thank you so much. I am so glad we were able to do this. I am so, so, so sisterly proud of you. Every time you post something, and I know and I understand the journey, and I really appreciate your resilience and honestly the beauty of what you're bringing to the world for those people who really need the products that you provide. So you deserve every bit of the success that you're getting, and I can't wait to see where it continues to go. Thank you so much, girl.
Thank you so much, Summer. You're so beautiful, and I love what you're doing as well. And I'm so proud of you. And anything I can do to support, I'm there. So thank you so much.
Thank you.